Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
It's funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Gotcha.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes. And I hear your question of how do you get to know a part or parts like that? And often they'll let themselves be known. And as I mentioned, often in the shadows, but they'll let themselves be known as the process of distinguishing and being with parts comes about. We often don't have to go searching for them, right? They'll pop up and they'll let us know in their own ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe it's been doing that because there have been a few sort of moments in my recent calls with James where, and particularly with the hazy part, where that moment comes up of oh, now I see what a huge job you've been doing. I see why you've been doing it. Yes. And how do I feel now towards it? And it's just oh yeah, I feel that there's some appreciation and compassion, and there is also this membrane of sorts between me and that, and maybe that's how this part is kind of making itself known. So that's just something I feel like I've just starting to it's starting to emerge a little bit, and it would make a lot of sense as to why maybe why many of the parts are just not really that trust is not there much.
Sure. Right. If the connection is feeling a little spotty with another part coming in, or kind of almost acting as a buffer, it sounds like, between you and another part, or you and an experience outside of you. So
or just the attempt to kind of communicate with them is feels like it's being managed somehow.
Great noticing.
So anyway, it's kind of an adventure that is unfolding very slowly for me, but it's been been fun. Eye-opening.
And I know what you mean, as in the IFS type of fun, getting to know parts type of fun, not your typical type of fun, maybe, but a journey.
And sometimes and I have more time and space by myself this week than I've had for a long time.
Your connection has just gotten a little spotty.
Oh, okay. Is that still, can you hear me
You're
now?
back now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that sounds much better.
Awesome. Well, anyway, I know this happens sometimes, but yeah.
It sounds really good now. I'll let you know if it gets spotty again.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so does that seem like a area you want to explore and get curious about today?
Yeah, I think it would be good. I have often started these sessions with just trying to tune in and feel what sensations I have and go from there. And there's certainly a lot of like somatic activity and things that come up, and I'm like, this is really got to be parts, but it can be a little confusing and frustrating because these sensations come and go quite vividly. Like sometimes in the flow of a conversation, there may be a shift that is somewhat of an answer to a question, but it's never so clear cut at all. Like, oh, this is this part and it's showing up here. And, and it's also not consistent from one time to another. I don't think it's not like really possible to be like, okay, this part is always here. So there's this sort of like symphony of sensations that come and go. And I've tried to use that as a starting point, but I was thinking that maybe thinking about what happens for me in a check-in or in a kind of attempt to drop in might be a good kind of way in today.
Yeah.
We can see what comes up. I'm really trying to train myself, like not think ahead too much to calls and not be like, I want to talk about this and do this because that's most likely possibly that part, or so yeah.
Often a part with an agenda or a manager, and they're all welcome too. There's benefit to both avenues, and that's what's so great about this work is we don't have to do it any particular way. We get to experiment and find out what works best for your system.
Yeah. Anyway, just so I think that gives you kind of an idea, like what can happen for me that I think I'm starting to see more clearly, and then I'm happy just to have a couple of quiet minutes and just see if some totally different direction comes up, and from there,
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Well, I will. How does 2 minutes sound for you?
2 minutes sounds awesome. Yeah, I find that 1 minute by really quickly.
It does. That's true.
Okay.
And in this 2 minutes, I'll set a timer and let you know when it's up. Perhaps just. You've just recounted and recited some of what that is like during the check-ins. So, just dropping in and see how that feels after kind of revisiting that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, I will talk to you in a couple of minutes. All right, that was about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Happy to add on some more
if things get really loud and chaotic during, maybe I'll request another minute. How's that?
Can request how endless amounts of minutes at any time. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. So there's almost a sense that there's a kind of a clamoring from a lot of different parts. And even ones that about an hour ago I was listening to a lecture, and I was also kind of just noting parts that came up because I have this whole tangle around, it's I don't really know where to start with that, so I probably won't really go into it, but it's a kind of a knotty situation or sort of constellation of parts that I think is present quite a lot. So partly I'm just sitting there going like, oh, what happens when I try to drop in? And then all these things start to crowd in. But
was that a similar tangled feeling to when you were listening to the lecture, or was it a different constellation, a different tangle?
I think it was just maybe some parts saying, "Oh, remember all that stuff." You know, maybe there's an energy of like, "Oh, you gotta identify that and this and that and this," you know.
Right. So, yeah, during a moment or two of silence, they have their chance to remind you of these other things that are on their minds. And yeah.
Well, and it may be a kind of what I think of as a you got to find the right thing part, because if let me just paint a picture. Like, you've probably been in situations where somebody's leading a guided meditation, let's say, and it's like, oh, imagine yourself in a nice, peaceful place that you feel kind of at ease in. So what my parts will do at that kind of juncture, or anything similar, is like, oh, this one, no, this one, no, this one, and then which one is the right one? And there's that kind of like, there's this sort of cycling through that, and whether it's kind of in that vein of like, what of several great tools that I could use to drop in would I use now, that kind of gets in the way of like just actually dropping in. It might be like that. So that's just this kind of like buzzy sort of like almost like giving me a ton of choices, and not, and it's like there's no way in, because it's sort of cycling through these different things. That's a pretty familiar sort of I don't know if it's a part, or anyway a movement of parts. And the other thing that can happen, which is very similar, is like maybe I get past that stage and I do kind of drop in a little bit. And then there can be distract parts. And these have been coming up for me, like with a lot of pinball imagery recently, which is kind of fun. So, those little plastic things will pop up and
walkways or ricochet.
And then you're just trying to kind of keep the ball on this, somewhere. And there's this sort of chaotic energy about it. And so there have been times recently when I'm trying to check in or drop in, or for whatever reason, or maybe I'm going into a challenging conversation and want to, like, I'm maybe at work or starting a shift at work, and trying to sort of really get centered. And it'll be like, oh, this thing, and it's literally like kind of I think of it as a distracting part, and that it seems to function like as a block as well. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, as well as this sort of membrane that I mentioned before, there also can be this kind of like busy, spinning parts that are that seem to me to be presenting a resistance to kind of like just dropping in, which I know what that feels like, and that happens sometimes, but it seems to be getting more difficult. It's like there's a real business. So,
giving this sort of ping pong feeling, making it difficult in a way to land at any one place. Giving lots of choices, kind of throwing up lots of different directions and thoughts. And I also hear that there is, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it sounds like this part also has a bit of a pressure on itself to find the right part. I heard you mention that at first, got to find the right part.
Yeah, the one that is like cycling through different options. So in a conversation like this, it might be like, wait, to find the right trailhead or the right part, to the right thing to focus on. But if it's like, okay, what of, various kind of mindfulness supporting tools might I use at this point? It will be like that. It'll be like, oh no, we'll do this, and it
right.
just
Right.
kind of like
yeah.
obstacles. Yeah. But
yeah. Would that feel okay to turn towards now?
Yeah.
Just let it know that that part is welcome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And how are you feeling now towards this part? Giving lots of choices. Are you feeling its presence at all?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm feeling someone's presence. There's quite a lot of activity.
Yeah, that could very well be this part. Sounds like a very active part. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, between that one and the distract, there's like a lot of kind of zipping around.
Yeah, buzzy energy you mentioned before. Yep. Yeah. Let them know they're welcome. How do you feel towards those parts as you let them know they're welcome to be here with you now?
I just feel myself slowing down a little bit, trying to kind of make a space around them. I'm just trying to let it know that I really feel its energy quite strongly.
Great.
Because again, I do feel some measure of curiosity, but I do also feel this kind of what I've been identifying as like the membrane between a real open kind of just sort of no attachment to outcome kind of curiosity that like I feel is not fully there.
Yeah, you can let these parts know that, exactly like you're saying, that you have a level of curiosity for each of them. And that if they could dial back those sensations just a little bit, then you'd be able to see them a little clearer.
Are you meaning the one that's full of choices and trying to get it right and the distract part, or are you meaning the first one and the membrane part?
I think as a general public service announcement, sort of, to the system and to the sensations that are present with you now. Sharing that bit of curiosity that you're feeling. And letting them know that you do feel those sensations that are present. And to understand them, dialing those sensations back just a little bit may help. And how did they respond to that?
Not sure. I think there's a willingness to engage, and
Mm-hmm.
So with what I'm kind of calling the membrane part, which is a brand new name, it's not, there's not a sensation that I can associate with that, except for this kind of yeah, maybe it's like me at the moment of like, how do I feel? What's the feeling here now? How, how am I relating to this other part that I've identified? And there's just this little bit of a buffer, a separation.
I think membrane it really describes that quite well. A thin layer, enough that it is noticeable. And would it feel right to turn towards that part for just a moment and check in with it?
I think so, yeah.
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 Yeah, so just inviting that part to notice you. And if it's present, you could ask it what it might be concerned about happening if it were to pull back a little bit.
I don't think that it feels that it can, because it's like all around me.
Yeah.
Another word that's come to mind is like a glove, like a body glove or a wetsuit kind of. And I don't think it knows how to to come off or loosen up because of the nature of it. But it's also not used to being noticed. So let me just kind of hang there for.
And it's okay that it doesn't know how to pull back. It's welcome here with us, and we're curious about its fears and its concern if it didn't do what it does.
Well, it feels like it's holding everything together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Protective layer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting a sense of that it feels like it is kind of my form, and that without it there would be like a just a formlessness and like a I want to say melting.
Yeah. And so its job is to make sure that doesn't happen, that there's a protective, holding everything together sort of body glove or membrane. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it's doing that, and it's also okay, we'll stick with that. I'm sort of I have a sense that it's also sort of trying to do IFS.
Mm-hmm.
But that is from sort of just like trying to start to explore it earlier. It's not bubbling up right now. So holding, preventing a kind of preventing I'll go with melting, just the kind of melting away, like dissolving, like losing form.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. And as you start to understand this part a little bit better, how are you feeling towards it? Is there an openness? Any other feelings towards?
Mm. I think that I just feel quite blended with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really understandable.
Yeah.
We're inviting it in. We're really trying to get to know it.
Mm.
Sounds like a very hardworking part that's almost kind of all encompassing.
Yeah, exactly. I think it feels like it's doing the job of being me.
Yeah.
Being like, yeah. So it's working.
Let it know that you see that it's working really hard in that way. And see if it would be open to being with you for a little while.
Mm.
Letting us understand what it's been like for this part. You can try asking it to even just energetically take one step in front of you.
Yeah, it's not used to being noticed. But I think it is loosening a little bit.
Yeah, let it know that you see that. We understand it's not used to being noticed in this way, and that's probably feeling really new. And let it know that it doesn't have to be seen if it doesn't want to be. It's all optional.
Mm.
And any other intention that you'd like to share with it.
Mm. Yeah, it's feeling very thick now suddenly, but it is feeling like so much around me.
Yeah.
A little bit kind of floating up ahead, or floating like kind of Yeah. I guess there is a little bit of separation with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just noticing the sensations change a bit around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can thank it. And at this part, I'd like to share with you anything about what it's been like for it. And are you feeling open to hearing a little bit about that?
I am, yeah. It feels like it's doing a kind of meta job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's like simultaneously, I think, kind of invisible, but very
ever present.
Yeah, but also very, very kind of, I just keep getting the word thick.
Mm-hmm.
Like what seemed like this kind of thin membrane that was so indistinguishable from, how people perceive me or how I perceive myself is now this like really kind of thick.
Yeah. You're able to see much more of it now.
Yeah, or feel it. Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's a really new sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Feeling into it a little bit more and what's that? What it's really like. There's a thick nature to it. Is there any other qualities that you're noticing?
Yeah, it's like this thickness that is kind of floating up at the front of me has crowded everything else out that was there before, the other parts. And it's just me and that kind of like very thick kind of floating something.
Yeah. And is that okay with you that it shares itself with you in that way?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Does this part know how long it's been doing this job?
No, I just got a 20-something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that feel okay to explore a little bit?
Yeah.
You can let it know. Can show you anything it would like to around that, around those ages.
So I feel like my hazy part has arrived.
Welcome, hazy part.
Mm-hmm.
What does the hazy part like to tell us?
My sense is the hazy part is not thrilled about any memories surfacing.
Exploring that 20-something-year-old connection.
Yeah, or it tends to show up at this kind of stage, and they're kind of similar. There's a similarity.
They work
with
closely together. Yeah.
Yeah, or yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I feel they're in opposition with each other, but
Right.
yeah. Let me just sit with it a little more and see if I
Yeah.
can learn the difference between them.
It is very possible for two protectors to have a similar goal, but have very opposing ways of going about that.
I'm just asking the hazy mark if it wouldn't mind just kind of watching and waiting.
Yeah, or what its concerns might be if it were to trust us and to wait back a little while. If it has any thoughts or concerns about that. How does it take that in?
I'm not sure. When it showed up, yeah, I'm trying to discern the present answer from it. It has previously told me, it showed me some types of feelings that it is really protecting against. But I'm not sure. I'm not gonna just make that assumption in this moment.
Yeah, you know a little bit about why it does what it does, and you just want to check in with it and see how it's feeling now.
So, Christine, there's this little tug of war going on inside, which kind of has to do with me, the silences. So, yeah, what I'm thinking could be helpful is just to put another timer on.
Yeah. So you have more
Yeah,
permission for the parts that feel like they should be responding at a certain time, or
yeah,
that makes total sense.
Yeah, and also, I mean, what I'm trying to do is just kind of send a message that it's actually okay if nothing floats up, because I think that is kind of deep concern of a lot of these parts, is like, oh my God, nothing's gonna show up.
Sure. Yeah. And I just want to speak directly to those parts for a moment and just say there's absolutely no rush. And in fact, I think taking those moments to just be with your parts is really necessary in this process, and never any time limit on that.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. I can set a timer for you if you'd like a minute or two.
If it's okay even to do like 4 or 5, I think that might be, and I'll just get, I'll pipe up sooner if things change, but
sounds good. How about I do really 5 and then I'll do 5 and you can just chime in whenever feels right, and I'll let you know when 5 is up.
Great. That would be great. And we'll just see what they all do.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks.
All right. It's about 5.
Oh, wow. Okay. It all feels quite aquatic. And there's a sort of, it's still very like opaque, whether I'm sure if it's the hazy part or the membrane part that had gotten really kind of thick and, I want to say almost like jelly-like before. But yeah, that kind of sensation and energy is still really dominant, and the distract parts kind of were popping up, and there's like an energy of trying to pull me out of it. And
it sounds like you're understanding the relationship between them a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, that distract thing is like very often there if I'm trying to just sort of feel into something, just like it's like
that these parts actually, that's kind of their signal to come in.
I most often notice the hazy and the distract part kind of like trading off jobs or working kind of differently, but
and how would it feel to invite all of them? They're all here, and just to welcome all of them now. And they can have their own space with you. However you want to visualize that, calling them all around you. How do they take that in?
Yeah, that's sort of where I was during the silence. I was just kind of sort of being the ocean around them kind of thing.
And do you get a sense for any one of them? You can let them know that you're curious about each of them. And see if you get a sense for one that would like to speak first. That they're all going to get their turn. But speaking one-on-one, you'll be able to get to each of them.
I'm getting a little bit of a sense that the membrane part would like to get back in the action because it felt disrupted.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah, and how do the others feel about that? Would they be okay with us doing that, knowing that they'll also get their turn?
Let me see. Yeah, I think the distract part feels a little minimized here because often I do experience it and describe it as this kind of like thing that's up on the surface and is just kind of making noise. And it might be saying like, well, I'm more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know you see it has a really important role that you are very curious about and you'd like to better understand. Maybe any intention you want to share with it about wanting to set aside a time to do that.
Yeah. Okay. I think those two, the distract and the hazy have gotten a little softer and
yeah.
Okay.
You can thank them for that.
Yeah.
Let them know we've got them jotted down. We won't forget about them. And does it feel all right to turn back to that membrane part? I was feeling a little interrupted.
I'm getting the sense that it is skeptical about my promise to these other parts. And it is saying like, well, that's why I'm here, because you know, that continuity or follow through has not always been there. And yeah, I would say I get this sense that it's very circular right now because these things are all reinforcing each other. So the membrane and the hazy part and the way they all behave does make it difficult for me to open up contact and you know have dialogue with them. So, but that's
so that membrane's concern makes sense to you, that it's seen that in the past it's been difficult to stick to certain commitments. And so it has a bit of doubt now.
I think it feels like it's the one who
that has to hold it together. And yeah. Can let it know that you see that it's been doing that. And perhaps any appreciation that you might feel for its efforts in that. And see if it can recognize a difference. You know, it might be used to dealing with other parts of you that distract or get off task. You can invite it to see you. Let it know that its concerns make sense to you.
Yeah, it's thinning out a little bit. I feel like I have a bit more clarity around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what else would I like to tell you about what it's been like for it, holding it together?
Okay, I get a sense that part of the buffer is I get to protect me from expectations of me from adults in my life when I was younger. And actually what popped up was definitely before my 20s, but yeah.
Yeah. Often things are happening before we develop the protective mechanisms that we need.
Yeah, so it's the sense I'm getting is like this that it might have buffered me against the sense of always disappointing people and being maybe measured up. It's sort of being compared to someone else in particular.
Yeah, and that makes sense to you. Why it would feel the need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what would it see that would happen if that comparison was being put to you in that way?
Well, that I wasn't enough, that I fell short. And yeah. And it's the things that my mom admired about this other kid who was kind of a kid of my age, that was our moms were very close friends for a while. The things that I just did not display in any way at all, those kind of qualities were so different from like the rest of my world. So there was this just like collision of maybe even values. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get too thinky about it, but that's
that's what it's sharing with you.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And it makes sense to you. I would bring up that example in this as we question, what would be so bad about that comparison? And
yeah, I'm not really sure that it doesn't not make sense, but it's not like, oh, light bulb, it's like, where did that come? But in a way that makes me trust it more. So
that you still are feeling curious about. Yeah. Yeah, you can let it know that you'd like to understand more of why that memory is important to it. You're okay to hear whatever it would like to share with you around that.
Yeah, it just says that, I was disappointing. I was like, falling short.
Mm-hmm. How is it for you to hear this part say that?
It's okay. I mean, I'm being so conscious of these threads, but I've I wouldn't. I guess maybe this is because of the work of the membrane part. I guess that I kind of was conscious of those things and didn't feel that they really hurt me or
right.
Yeah. It just seemed kind of like how it was, and it's not like, I don't know, maybe this is another part that's kind of like, that it wasn't so bad part, but it's sort of, it would be these moments, it wasn't like the whole flavor of the relationship, but it would be these moments, and it does come back to this like real disconnect between my life at home, my life at school, and without going into the details, there's like a bunch of ways in which I was always somewhat of an outsider, and it's just because of the real big difference between let's say this relationship between my mom and her friend and my mom and her family, and then the school that I was in, which is where my dad was a teacher, and so most of the kids in this school just had super different backgrounds from me, and so I was constantly having like a foot in different worlds. And all of this,
and this membrane part, it couldn't change any of that or take any of that away, but what it could do was offer this sort of buffer.
Although what came up really was like with that situation of my mom and what she thought an ideal kid would be like, which was this other kid. Yeah.
And you feel like you're understanding that. It sounds like a bit more.
I do feel that. So let me just try to connect a little bit more again with the part.
Let it know that you're understanding what it's been showing you, and the pain that it protects from. It sounds like a really hard job. Really important.
It's almost like it made another, like a version of me that could yeah, that could be with my mother.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And what was that version like that it was creating?
Well, there was yeah, I think this buffer is a really a kind of appropriate. Like I can see why it would show up like that.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't really, my needs or emotions or whatever I was important to me was not really ever accepted or validated, and so
Yeah.
it just didn't really. It would come out sometimes, and there would be tension and conflict sometimes. But I think plenty of the time, I just kind of those were just kept and blunted a lot. But just kind of shut down. Yeah.
Yeah, having to hold it all together. Preventing that melting, that dissolving that I mentioned.
Absolutely, yeah, because there was really no sense of containment from that relationship.
Not in the ways that you desired. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, like sort of both uncontained, but also having to be muted and
contained in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not held, supported type of contained, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just not okay to be myself.
More managed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense to you. And how are you feeling towards this part now, understanding all of this and the importance of it?
Oh, I'm just feeling appreciative. I feel kind of maybe some parts trying to kind of connect that with how it operates in the present day. But maybe
you can let the membrane part know that you feel some curiosity around that. See if it would be open to sharing how it operates today.
Yeah, it says that it protects me from disappointing people.
Yeah, and that makes sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an energy that I've noticed.
Yeah.
It's not quite clear cut though, but
protects you from disappointing others.
Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to, just asking what it is about that.
Yeah, I know it mentioned about expectations and comparisons before. You could ask it what disappointing others looks like.
Yeah, it says not being accepted or just being being rejected.
Yeah. And does it want to show you a little bit how it does that today? Or in present times?
Well, it seems to say by separating me from what I actually think or feel. So that it just, so that it kind of holds this, like, like a version of me together that doesn't take any risks or certainly doesn't risk a lot of the time just rubbing someone up the wrong way or rocking the boat or yeah
the sort of social risks.
Well, yeah, I don't know about social. I think it's more coming back to my like my work and my
yeah and by social I think I just mean anyone outside of you you interacting with the outside world and the sort of relating risks or rules. So this part really holds together a version of you by not taking certain risks, by attempting to sort of separate you from what you're thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
It sounds really important.
It does. I just want to sit with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are definitely there's definitely a part that's frustrated by all of this muting and buffer.
Good noticing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if that frustrated part would be okay to step out just for a few minutes. Let it know that you get it. It makes sense to you that it would be, a part would be frustrated with that. And how does it respond?
I think it's okay with that.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard to tell. I'm always trying to kind of find I want to say just find the speed or find the pace in my system at any one time. I'm like, yeah.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
It's almost like trying to feel a pulse, of find a rhythm.
Yeah, you can just keep coming back to the feel towards questioning yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Noticing if that frustration dissipates or elevates. And how connected do you feel now towards the part that works to separate you a bit from what you're thinking and feeling around others?
Well, it's still kind of indistinct. I mean, everything is still kind of indistinct. So
yeah, that's kind of its job. Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that I think that it's a little bit more at ease. I think that it is.
It likes being heard in this way by you.
Yeah, there's something different about that energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have another question for this part if it feels right or you feel open to that.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't have to work so hard in the ways that it does for you, that we've seen and started to really understand, what would it rather be doing with its energy for you and for the system?
I think it would like to dissolve and well, I'm just getting the sense that that would allow clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what the part wants, though, or is that what I want?
Great question. You can check in with the part.
Yeah. Yeah, because it has gone from, if that was, it has gone from being very, like, in place and not willing to really change or
trying to prevent that dissolving.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to let you know that that's actually quite common and very normal for protectors to want to do the opposite of what they've been having to do. You can just check that out with this membrane part. If it didn't have to protect so vigilantly against what it does that thought of dissolving sound good to it?
It
or
does.
Would it like that? Yeah.
It does. There's a sense of wanting to be free.
Yeah. Yeah, let it know you see that. And you could ask it what it might need from you to help it in its job. So that it wouldn't have to work so hard.
I think the instant answer is to be in nature. Yeah.
More time in nature.
Yeah, I guess those kind of, that whole layer of expectation and disappointment and whatever, that just kind of falls away.
Comparison and expectation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that in nature, that connection might come a little easier for this part. Connection to how you're thinking and feeling.
So, yeah, I do feel like that's something that I do for myself quite a bit, well, as much as is possible I'm in a big city. But there's a lot of nature around, actually. What's coming to mind now is just how, and this might be the distract kind of part, is how that pull to like put on a podcast or have something filling up
to be doing. Yeah,
something kind of like to fill in some space. And it is a tension that I play with quite a lot, because there's always good stuff to listen to.
Yeah. And that could actually be this membrane part, just helping to illuminate a little bit what might come in the way of that nature time, or things that tend to distract from its needs.
Well, I don't know if it's from this part or other parts, but or just my experience of like saying, hey, let me just try to like be in my senses and not have some brain candy. As good as that brain candy can be, because I like I have felt like it's related to this membrane part. I don't know. I'm getting confused now.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Well, and I think sometimes, it depends on what the brain candy is, right? Like, you can check this with the membrane part, but if we're in nature, if we're spending more time in nature and we want to listen to something that brings up some emotion in us, or helps us be with certain parts of ourselves, there could be a way to do both there.
Well, and that's what I do with, this very podcast. I don't know if this is going
to... Me too.
But what, I'm not sure if it's clear. I sort of feel like the membrane part is the one that chooses all this good stuff.
As a way to maybe get in touch with those
feelings
in a safe way.
Yeah, like in a sort of frequent, either restless or kind of dissociated state, it gets me sometimes as close as I'm going to be to my own feelings, because it's a little bit of a hotline to them.
Yeah.
But it also seems to be saying, that we have to kind of do without that sometimes.
That maybe it's an invitation in, but it's not the end of the road.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, the nature part was clear, and the other stuff about like, okay, what happens when I do that, and what spirals do I go in? Because what I feel like is that I give myself a lot of opportunities to try to slow down and connect, and then the kind of restless energy really can set in, and I'm not quite sure yet where the membrane part is fitting with that.
It sounded like to me that the membrane really holds that all together. It holds a lot together, but part of what it holds together is that initial part that we were hearing from, that's more glamoring and more gotta find the right way to do it, or the right part. And the membrane is sort of holding all of that together in this meta job of sort of buffering the experience. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if how they relate to each other. But yeah, all the things that you said, yeah, that is what it said. I mean, it could be that it's just saying like, okay, all this, for years, it seems like, whatever, my kind of repertoire of distractions, a lot of them are very wholesome and helpful, but they're still distractions sometimes. So they're still it comes down to this like a layer of separation between my own experience and kind of pathways to experience. And
that this membrane part, and possibly others as well, are trying to find clever ways in to be okay with the thoughts and emotions that are present, or to be in touch with them at a pace that isn't too much or won't feel threatening. And how close do you feel now to this membrane part? How are you noticing it?
I'm feeling a little further away from it, I think, just by getting kind of trying to work out the tangle. Let's
see if you can come back to that. We were hearing about its desire for more nature when talking about what it might need from you to be able to relax in its role a little bit.
Yeah, that does seem very like a very solid message. Like, I am sensing this part or group of parts that whenever I think about these things and kind of like what would be supportive and what would be, what would be a good way to, whether it's like practice IFS or, drop in. There's and this hasn't really come up for me yet in our conversation, but it's so familiar. It's kind of like, well, there's this obstacle and this obstacle, and mainly it's not actually, some of it is like, actual obstacles you might think of, like kind of time and
sure, yeah,
space and so on. But some of it is also, I think, kind of
more just fears around certain obstacles, or
there's definitely a part. I don't really know if it's. I've sensed it both with sort of protector energy and exhale energy of like, I'm not going to be able to do that. That's not going to work. Do that. It's a very kind of, and that came up with the sort of great suggestion of like, yeah, actually, when I can really like go look at a tree or, whatever I do out there, it's a lot of things, that a lot of stuff just drops away, which I think is what the membrane part was really getting at.
Really getting at, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can let it know that you get that. That's been jotted down and noted. Happy to send it a little note about that to you after the call. And anything else that it might need from you. And I recognize and hear the parts that might want to come in and provide a good answer for that, or feel pressure around which avenue are we going to choose. But let them know that this is a little bit different what we're asking. Really just about the needs for this part that holds things together in the way that it does. What offers it relief? And what it would like from you.
It just seemed to tell me that it wants me to like open my eyes, which I think is sort of metaphorical.
Yeah. Seeing things in a different way.
Yeah, actually seeing things without the membrane.
Yeah.
Without the separation. Yeah,
that's what it would like for you. And how does it see you doing more of that? And that might look like going to the parts that it protects. Working to support and heal those. You can check that out with the part.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I know it said, it gave me all that information about, falling short and disappointing and so on. But I'm not sure if it was too clear about anything.
Yeah, does it feel like it's protecting other parts in the system?
That's what I'm just trying to put,
yeah.
The question out there. Yeah.
And anything that it shares with you doesn't have to be shared with me. I just want to say that if I haven't already.
Mm. Well, I am getting a sort of couple images of me as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay for it to show you that. Yeah. Any certain age range that you would like me to jot down?
Sort of in the 7-8 range, I think. That's more just kind of coming up. Not that I can really identify that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
But yeah, I think at times when I had to spend a lot of time with my mum, and it would often just be kind of trekking around or traipsing around with her to places. And yeah.
Not a lot of time for your own feelings and thoughts. And
yeah, and there were stressors about that. About just those kind of trips and things they had to do sometimes with timekeeping. Because there was a lot of kind of running for trains that were just about to get moving. She didn't drive. And it was tough. I think you always have my little parade of doubting parts that are like, you're just saying that because you were thinking about that earlier today. And
those parts are welcome. And also if they could give you a little bit of space just so you fully understand what this membrane part is kindly sharing with you about what it protects. Yeah,
let me just try to kind of sink into that again.
Yeah, we understand why those other parts say what they say too. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. They do a good job. They're very they're very concerned with accuracy and
well intentioned for sure. Yeah. But we were hearing that it was difficult for this little one.
Yeah, it's almost like I had this kind of parallel solitary life that I would go into when I could, which in a way I got quite a lot of chances to do that. That's what it's showing me. It's also showing me that I often had my head in a book, which is the sort of that era equivalent of a
good podcast or good brain candy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've realized since working with James that kind of stories and storytelling and existing in stories was this quite big, eye-opening kind of like just piece of my system. Yeah. So it's just showing me just the difference between like my little life and how lonely that felt, but also a bit free from the all those expectations and disappointing, like I'm not that other kid, that
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I don't know quite how to say this, but everything went just from being kind of a bit fluid and a bit opaque in, as I'm doing all of this to suddenly being very kind of static in my mind. I'm not sure how else I can explain it.
What's that static feeling like?
I don't know.
More vivid or less vivid?
Not either more vivid or less vivid, just very energetically different.
Just noticing that, welcoming that.
I wonder if it's a kind of a timekeeping part, because I've had my eyes closed this whole time, but it could be that it's just going like that. It's like I don't know how long I've been talking to Christine and what she needs to do.
Thank you to that part. Very kind. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're doing all right. And it's right. Yes, we've been working with this part now and hearing from it. And as we just make sure to sort of do our due diligence here with this membrane part and thank it for all that it's been sharing with us. Being able to show you a bit more about its nature and how it operates and when and why that's important and who it's protecting within you, what it protects from. And just seeing if this part feels like you really understand what it's been sharing with you. Or if there's anything else it wants you to really understand.
Yeah, I think it's kind of saying I'm getting some of the same images again, like a wetsuit and a sense of being muted. Like everything is just kind of on mute, or there's a sort of dulling that is that provides, that makes things more tolerable somehow.
Yeah. And you feel like that makes sense to you. You really get the ways in which it provides that and does that.
Yeah, I do. It does make sense. Yeah.
And how would this part like to stay in touch with you going forward?
I think it would like me to go and like doodle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, which is something that it could be that it's offering that because I'm always sort of thinking of how could I do just meet with parts in creative ways and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it is kind of funny because like by nature it's been this like somewhat transparent, membranous thing. At one point it got quite thick, but it was sort of like it is sort of it's kind of hard to draw. So yeah, I'm just gonna go and I think just try to do some sort of
play around with that a little.
Yeah, just like I've never quite been able to do that journaling thing where you just kind of write without thinking. Maybe do it just with drawing, where like it's not trying to send any particular thing, but just let
see where the pen goes or the pencil goes. Yeah.
I might try to do that.
Let it know you hear that and you'd like to set aside some time. You can set any sort of intention around that now, this part.
Okay. Yeah, let me do that because, my idea was to do it for a little bit now, but I could easily do that and then just get sort of, the distract could come in and, the rest of the day will have to happen. And so, okay, I'll see if the part has a suggestion for me. Of doing this for a few days.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. I'm getting 5 days, 5 minutes.
Great. That sounds, How does that sound to you?
It sounds great. I'm going to put it in my phone finder, see what happens. Yeah.
5 days, 5 minutes.
Yeah. 5 days, 5 minutes. I mean, my doubting part crew is like always a little bit there with me. So it's, I've learned to kind of just let them hum away in the background.
That's great.
So all these quick answers are interesting, but I'm going to take them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that sounds agreeable to you. You can commit to that.
Exactly. It doesn't sound too demanding.
Great.
I can do that.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Is it helpful if I send any? It sounds like you have pen and paper there. So do you need any of these notes? Could I send you any of these after the call, or you feel like you've got the requests from this part down?
Yeah, I don't. I have not been taking notes or anything. So actually, that would be great. You can even screenshot them if you're writing. I don't know how you're doing this, but
I'm old school. I write pen paper, but I'm happy to definitely send you any highlights or especially I think the requests of this part, so that you're able to follow up and keep those in mind.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else from this part or any questions for me?
I don't think so. So. Yeah, I really appreciate time and your your willingness to go to funny places with me.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure, and it's very mutual, that appreciation for that. I quickly also want to just thank the other parts that we met today, the hazy part, the clamoring, different ideas, and thank them. They were really generous with their space and their patience. To think this membrane part that shared so much with us, and to just also acknowledge that little one, and let that one know that we see it.
Definitely.
Thank them all for being here.
Thank you for the reminder. It's true. They were they were generous. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Christine. And I don't know if James usually sends me a recording at some point, which I always appreciate because I always come back. So I don't know if that's easy for you to do. It's no big deal.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll send it over to you.
Because I have stuff to do. But I mean, like from this part. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can send that over to you via email.
Yeah. Oh my God, we've been on the phone a long time.
It's been great. It's been great. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fun to do. Okay. Very
awesome.
Nice to meet you, Christine, properly.
You too. Hope to do it again sometime. And we'll follow up very soon with some notes.
Excellent. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.